Hello Kaiju fans, welcome to the Kaiju World Order. I am MM, and today I am going to be talking a little bit about everybody's favorite lost Kaiju of the Godzilla franchise, Bagan, or Bagan, or however you really want to pronounce this monster's name. It never actually appeared in the movie anyway. So, Bagan has a very interesting place in the Kaiju fandom's history and the Godzilla franchise history. He was Tanaka's precious baby. He was pushed for everything from the original draft of Godzilla in 1985 through the Rebirth of Mothra movies and even Yamato Takeru 2, which of course never happened. But the fact that they wanted this guy in a movie so damn bad all the way up until Tanaka's death is saying something about this monster, and there was a lot of different hands and a lot of different attempts to try and do it. Initially, I wanted this video to be an unboxing video of the Super Nintendo Super Godzilla colored Bagan figure that I just got in the mail. Unfortunately, I do not have the proper setup yet. I've been trying to get everything set up so I can be like all the cool kids on YouTube with a little rotating stand and a light box and everything, so it doesn't look like shit. So just work with me for a little bit, and until then, I'm going to tide yous all over with just me rambling on about Bagan a little bit. Bagan initially appears in the Super Godzilla game for the Super Nintendo way back in the early 90s, and there were a lot of speculation that this game would be the basis of the next Godzilla movie, which unfortunately did not happen. Much of Super Godzilla's design was transferred onto the monster Space Godzilla, and Bagan went into, well, retirement. So we never saw Bagan again, but his legacy lived on until the modern day. Now, thankfully, Bagan's been getting remembered lately. He's popped up in Godzilla Battle Line. He is actually my favorite unit in the game. He is my team lead. And he's been making rounds. But I think it's time to go through and just look at Bagan's legacy a little bit, how he's affected the fan base, how he's been used by certain fans and writers. Now, my first experience with Bagan is all the way back in the early 2000s with Tom Zilla, who you guys might know as Kaijutopia on YouTube. He used to run the Monster Wrestling Federation, which was pretty much his glorified fan fiction with giant monsters in the place of professional wrestlers in WWE style storylines. And Bagan was one of the most powerful monsters in this little thing he had going. At the same time, Clint Werner of Kaiju File / Rodan's Roost was doing his own fanfic sequel series to the Heisei era, and just like everybody else, he had to bring back Bagan. But when he brought Bagan back, he introduced a lot of unique, I'm trying to think of what word to use here. I don't want to say powers, but lore to the monster. Now, like, Bagan required a specific number of monsters to beat him. No more, no less, and when that went sideways, Bagan would win. And this version of Bagan was demonic, straight from hell. It had ties to the villain Kaito from the last Megalopolis. And Bagan was just wicked in this story, to the point where he was pile driving monsters on top of other monsters. He pretty much turned Heisei Godzilla, the adult junior, into, at that point, what was supposed to be the GMK Godzilla. Remember, this is all fanfic, but this was all written very well, very carefully. Clint is also an established author who does modern day work for the Warhammer series, so if you ever are looking to read a really cool Godzilla story, I'd recommend looking up The Coming of Bagan by C.L. Werner. It is just a great story to read. It's pretty long, but you can find it on Internet Archives. Kaiju File is sadly no longer around, but his work is still around. Now, fast forward through a couple years, and Bagan made his pop-up again in the Kaiju War Chronicles. Once again, done by Tom Zilla, who took his previous established Bagan, along with like Clint's, and made an even more imposing Bagan that was withstanding armies of hundreds of kaiju. It was at this point where my fondness of the monster kind of began to dwindle, because everybody was doing the same thing with Bagan. He was no longer a, I don't want to say monster of the week style, like bad monster, like you could say Destroy and Space Godzilla were. He was now a kaiju among kaiju, and it just didn't sit well with me. I thought it was kind of lame. Nothing against the writing of Tom, it was just something that was done so many times I just got tired of seeing it. Now, it's been a long time since then, and I've recently been revisiting my fascination with this unused character, and this is really because of Super 7. And Super 7 started doing some stuff that we didn't think we'd ever see. And I began to really start pushing for Bagan on some Discord servers. Half jokingly, half not. Do I expect Super 7 or any company to give us a highly articulated Bagan? Expect? No. Do I think it's in the cards? Absolutely. Bagan's been getting more merchandise recently. He's popped up in Godzibon, not just in his popular, well-known form that is from the render on the Toho movie series Chronicle or whatever. It's where the initial Bagan prop, suit, whatever, is displayed. There's a lot of pictures of it online, especially in Toho Kingdom, that originally made it popular. Now, if you're looking for Bagan on mainstream, a lot of people in the fandom don't realize that just because Bagan himself didn't appear in a Godzilla movie, several of Bagan's designs lived on. They were either adapted or directly influenced into various designs of Ultraman monsters and even a Gridman monster. I just want to go over some of these here monsters real quick. They are kind of obscure. One of Bagan's designs was turned into the monster Kalazi for the Ultraman Great series, Ultraman Toward the Future. This monster was seemingly based on one of the more unknown designs of Bagan, possibly being one of the dragon forms of its earlier Bagan version of itself. Kalazi is a space monster. It comes to Earth to destroy the world alongside the sea monster Kudalar, and it spits fire from its mouth and just does some destruction before getting killed by Ultraman Great. Additionally, another another Ultraman monster, Biru Gamera, no relation to everyone's favorite turtle, was also based on Bagan concept art. Now, this monster isn't actually in any Ultraman series, but is actually in an Ultraman video game from the 90s. This game was called Ultra Strategy: Mobilization of the Science Patrol, and released in 1992. I have never played this game. I don't know much about it. I'm literally just getting all the information for it from the Ultraman wiki. So, thanks, guys. Another monster that's possibly influenced by Bagan is the monster Bagheera from Gridman. This monster sports very Bagan-like body shape, horns, spikes on its hands, which act a lot like blades. Now, the monster itself has never been officially confirmed to be a Bagan design. It's just something a lot of people have thought of. It's never been confirmed nor denied that if Bagheera is actually based on a Bagan design. I like to think that he is, even though it's never been specifically stated. And then another monster that is also possibly based on a Bagan design is the monster Razorus from Super Starfleet Phaser X. This monster features, again, very Bagan-like body shape and horns. In place of hands, it has massive pincer claws. And this monster actually made the rounds a few years ago as part of a now infamous trolling of the Godzilla fandom, where someone took footage of this monster, put a blue hue to it, along with Final Wars background music, and then passed it off as Godzilla Final Wars deleted scene featuring Bagan. It didn't trick too many people, but it did trick a handful of people. It was comical for the time. It was a fun time looking back on it now. I think Bagan will always have a spot in every Godzilla fan's heart, one way or another. He seems to be a character that you either love or you hate. You want to see him or you don't. You want his figures or you don't. I personally have started to really want Bagan again. Him coming back for Battle Line and Godzilla and the new movie Monster Series figures has me all hyped up. I don't think we'll see him in the Monsterverse or anything, but I am hoping, crossing my fingers, that maybe we'll see Bagan in something, either a mini-series short or an anime or anything really. I'd be happy with just see Bagan come in. But with all that said and done, Kaiju fans, till next time, I'm MM, this is the KWO, peace out, and Minya.
Zilla says you should like and subscribe.